Morning everyone. Last night it absolutely poured down. Everything around me is completely wet. That's my little basher area where I slept last night. Quite cozy, and yeah, I was quite dry. But yeah, this is my fireplace, and as you can see, it's wet. So I'll have to go and look for some dry stuff to be able to make a fire. As I walk through the grass here, just on the outside of my camp area, I can feel a little breeze. Now whenever there's a wind blowing, especially early in the morning, it's a really good way to be sure of actually finding dry stuff. All these little stalks at the end of the grass that's blowing in the wind means they're getting a lot of wind, which means they are dry. We need to collect a good big handful of these to be able to use as tinder. When collecting tinder, people always go for a small amount. You go for 3 or 4 pieces of grass or whatever you find, a little bit in your hand like that. It's not enough, guys. Collect as much as you can. Be patient. Survival is not an easy and quick thing. You need skill, you need training, but then you also need patience, and you need to do every task and every job properly. So it teaches you really great life skills. But in this instance, I'm going to spend some time, collect a nice big handful of these, because there's still a little bit of moisture in here, and I want to give myself the best possible chance to be able to light the fire quickly and effectively with a fire steel. For those of you that have watched the How to Light a Fire Woodsman video on my YouTube channel, you will know that you need a few things to be able to light a fire. The first one is the tinder we just collected from the dry grass. And then you also need snap sticks. These really fine little sticks at the edge of branches that simply snap off when you collect them. The problem is, let me just focus there for you guys. The problem is these doesn't snap. They have a little bit of moisture still in them. And it's going to be hard to find really dry stuff unless they are exposed to the trees, like this one in front of me, on the edge of the branches. These are okay. They should do the trick. They snap quite nicely when you collect them, and that's the sort of stuff you're after. You need a big handful of those, guys. Collect a lot. This is what's going to take your flame. This will establish the flame, and then all the wood you pile on top of this has been exposed to the rain last night. So it needs a lot of heat, and it needs some flame to drive the moisture from the wood and make it burn. So to make a fire effectively and to get a good hot fire base, you need a lot of these. I've been lucky. I found these dry brushes, which if you snap them off, comes off in a nice big piece like that. So I'm going to use that as my little snap sticks to get my fire established. These are relatively dry, so if I collect a lot of these and I do my fire preparation properly, I'll be able to get a fire going with this. The next step is to look for firewood. The problem is the stuff on the ground here, like this piece of firewood here, has been exposed to a lot of moisture. It lies on the ground's wet around it because of the rain, and this is much wetter than the stuff suspended there off the ground. So I'm going to collect some of the sticks suspended off the ground, as it's only the outside little thin layer of bark and a little bit of the wood on the inside, that, or the outer layer, that is wet. The rest of the inside of that wood should be dry and burn quite easily. I've got my tinder grass, so we need to break this up now into fine fibers to create a large surface area to be able to take a spark easily. This grass has got moisture in it, I can feel it. So we'll have to dry this out, either by leaving it in the trees, in the breeze, the edge of the forest, or you can roll it in your hands for quite a long time, or you can keep it in your pocket and drive the moisture from it that way. Trees, opening it up like this, hanging it in the outer edges of the branches of the trees is actually the quickest and the easiest way if you've got a nice breeze going. I'm quite impatient, so I'm going to use this just as it is, because your fire steel technique is the most important thing to be able to get a fire going when you've got good tinder preparation. Now we have to use these, which is our thin little pencil sticks. I'm going to break them off the edges of the branches, use the fine little thin stuff, and a nice big handful like this will do the trick. I set it aside so that it's within easy reach to just lift and pop over my fire, because by now you guys know that a fire needs oxygen to burn. That's especially true when the stuff is a bit wet. That's my tinder bundle. That's my little fine snap sticks. On this side I've got a little bit thinner sticks which will act as my pencil sticks. And there is my dry firewood. You can see the difference in color between that firewood that I've collected that was lifted off the ground or suspended off the ground, and that could dry out much quicker and it didn't absorb as much moisture as that stuff that I left in my campsite from last night's fire before it started to rain, and during the night it's completely soaked. Color completely different. Wet stuff, dry stuff. Let's light a fire. And I think we've got it. Guys, proper preparation in lighting your fire is vital. If you do the steps right, as I explained it to you guys in the Woodsman proper instructional video on our YouTube channel on how to light a fire, then this will be easy. It takes practice, it takes skills, and it takes patience. And if you do all these three things right, spend some time out in the wilderness like I'm doing right now, then you guys will have success. It's one thing to learn skills from a book. It's totally another thing learning these skills on a real survival course, a practical survival course, and then it's a totally different ball game to go out into the field and actually putting these skills to the test. And once you've done the training, once you've learned the skill, it's up to you to master it and to be able to light a fire quickly and efficiently, even in the worst weather conditions. It's wet out there, but I'm going to have a coffee, so I deserve it. And I brought myself some nice cappuccino. I've collected some water from the river, and my water can now boil to make myself a nice cup of coffee. Nothing in the wilderness tastes better after a good night's sleep in an amazing, amazing wilderness area. See you guys around the campfire on a course soon.